Ah, the Fairy Queen. One of the most versatile frames in the game, and still, most people think she's just good for the speed running, speed farming, and that's all. But being best in that does not mean she's only good for that. But no one can deny the fact that she's the fastest frame in the game. She's fast to the point that when I tried her first, I built so much ability strength that after the first mission I was fast to drop all of that shit because I could not control the frame. I was just bumping into a wall and another wall. That was all the POV I had, bumping into a wall. I had to literally drop the amount of speed she gets. I mean, just look at that speed when you go overboard with it. So let's start with the first loadout I'm using on her, which is the loadout with Arcane Avenger and Nourish as a base. Arcane Precision is changeable with Arcane Pistolier, and after I did another testing for her, I definitely prefer Arcane Pistolier plus X. Arcane Avenger is good, Precision is good, but Pistolier is by far the best. So if you have Arcane Avenger, you go Combat Discipline. I did some more formats so I can use the not upgraded one. Since you don't really need range on Titania, I went for the duration and a little bit of ability strength. Mind you that I have 3 Tau Archon Reds for some extra Abi strength, but I'm thinking about dropping that a little bit, still a bit too fast. And the aura you use if you don't have Avenger is Aerodynamics, even Pistol Lamp, anything really, everything will work. I really like the duration because the only negative downside to not having range is on her too, that you have to fly a bit closer to the enemy to get the buff, but to buff the allies, it does not change the range, it buffs the allies with. So feel free to just drop the range for the duration, because rebuffing the buffs is a bit annoying. And it also works as efficiency for your Razor Wing, so Nourish is obviously for vital, energy management. And mind you that the biggest help she can get for the damage part is green Archon shards, because her Dex Pixia has very high status chance, so you will be stripping and putting those virals if you have Nourish very fast. This is my loadout with Darkverse, which I used to break every breakable object on the mission, mainly using in open world in Orb Valleys. That's the kind of build I don't bring anywhere where stuff dies hard, so I just put everything in the range, everything into efficiency, no duration, I don't care about any buffs, I just fly and spam Darkverse, I just hop in and out of the operator to get the casting speed, and I just fly, look map, break boxes, repeat. And this is why I'm using multi-augmented and multi-efficiency. And efficiency is the more important one. I just didn't really know what to put in there. I don't have energize, because I think that's a noob way to keep an energy up. It's not like a manly alpha chat using Nourish for it, you know. For example, when I break all these breakable objects in Orb Valleys, they drop a lot of energy orbs, so I literally never ever struggle with energy when I just use it for this purpose. Next on our list is a build I made for the memes, with completely the most bullshit amount of ability strength I could get. Arcane Power Ramp, multi-efficiency. I don't even know what I was doing with it, but I know if you use this to fly fast, you will fly very fast. But that's one of the builds I have that's completely irrelevant, so don't even bother about it. I just show it, just to show you all I have on it, but this is like a free slot. Because basically having new Eclipse simplified the amount of builds I needed before. This is one of these builds I take when I need to survive. And I can guarantee you nothing is killing you with this. Full Boreal set, adaptation, aerodynamics, aviator. You ain't dying with this. Like, I can guarantee you that you will not be in the slightest trouble with it. Especially that you have Eclipse. You just hold it down, get another 75. Like, bro, you're fine. A little bit of duration, because remember, your number 1 gives you immunity from status effects, and your number 2 has 2 buffs for damage reduction and avoidance. So you have 50% damage reduction and 50% less chance to get hit. So you have 60 Boreal set damage reduction while airborne, Aviator 40, Aerodynamic, bro, Eclipse 75, Adaptation, I don't know, like, if they actually get to hit you, you will instantly start to stack up to 90% more damage reduction. Like, don't tell me that Titania is fragile. I never really use her when I need that much of damage reduction, but if I do need this build, I'm always picking up my Guandao Prime just to get the Boreal's Contempt. Like, nothing else really matters what you have on Guandao other than just the 3rd mod of the Boreal set. But most of the time, Furax is weapon of my choice. 45 fire rate for secondary weapon, which we completely don't need, but why not? I just really like when the pew pew goes like real fast, you know? And for the Dex Pixia build, this is the build I use when I use status chance, which you can translate to not using Arcane Avenger. Even if you put Creeping Bullseye, it's not enough crit chance. Like, baseline 10% crit strike chance on Dex Pixia is not enough if you don't use Arcane Avenger. So if you don't use it, forget about any crit on it, because it's pointless really. And that's the build when I actually use Arcane Avenger, which simply is just Prime Target Cracker and Creeping Bullseye on the build. And instead of the status chance, I just use flat big damage for elementals with pathogen rounds and primed convulsion. And for the Diwata, this is the build I use, and I mainly use Diwata ever to kill acolytes, because one thing that Pixia sucks for is killing acolytes, and Diwata sucks for everything else than killing acolytes, so that's a quick simple build for the Diwata. But we will also roll corrosive on it, since acolytes have ferrite armor. And compared to Pixia, Diwata has higher crit strike chance with lower status. So obviously you ignore any like status chances on it. I only have Volcanic Edge, I don't know, cause I think I fucked up with Formas or some shit like that. I don't understand why they say that Titania isn't made for Steel Path. They say she's too fragile for this, but I don't think so, especially after they changed the Eclipse. Damage, she ain't taking it. She's harder to hit because of her 4 and because of her buff, and she takes 50% less damage because of her buff, and that's without all the mods we have for the airborne damage. But even if you put everything into her defensives, she will not have any problems of dealing with mobs. And as long as you have Arcane Pistolier, second Arcane on the Warframe is completely up to you what you wanna pick. If you have Avenger, go for it. If you have Precision, go for it. And to be fair, you don't even need all these damage reduction mods, because I usually don't run them. You have your Razorflies to distract enemies, and you have your Duplex Bond clones to distract enemies. So you will be completely fine most of the time. Only if you decide to really go high level for some reason, then you can pick some defensives, and she will still deal with the mobs just as fine, because of the green shards being broken. Like, full armor strip is just one of the best damage increases in this game, sadly. But most of the time I just run Nourish and Arcane Avenger. I don't know, I just like it the most. And I think my favorite second Arcane is Pistolier, just because I don't have to worry about the ammo once I get a single headshot and I can just do body shots. I have 2 green shards anyway. But remember, like, Arcane Precision is gonna be permanently up as long as your Razorflies do damage. They are like made to do headshots, so it's always up, but it will not proc your Pistolier, because this is not like kill with a secondary weapon, just remember that. And since you're in year 4, your companion doesn't work, but it will still create the duplex clones to distract to damage. And now I will give you a quick sped up showcase how I'm using my Darkverse build most of the time. And I think that's like one of the best uses, to be fair, because it's really hard to do it with any other frame. So all I do is look at my map where the loot is, and I spam Darkverse and fly over it, and from time to time I just jump to Operator to get the casting speed buff, and I keep doing the same. I fly between two locations, and I fly inside the building for like few casts to see if it resets. If it doesn't reset, because sometimes it resets, sometimes it does not, I just fly to the other location. And this is the result of what loot I get after 4 minutes in there, but mostly I was like flying for 2 minutes. And another mission Titania is probably the best in is Void Flood. Like literally you can just constantly fly the entire fucking time and collect those Vitoplast orbs. Like there's literally not a single other frame that's designed to be just best in this mission. Like when I was doing my Incarnon challenges, I got all 3 first, and then I did the Void Flood missions for the Incarnon challenge perk, cause I could not fucking bother with it other way. This mission's pretty boring, it's enough to have it in circuit. I didn't have to like do challenges for the weapon one by one, just rather to do it like all 3 at the same time. One of the issues Titania have is that in the Archwing form she cannot pick it up. You gotta use your operator, pick it to the excavator, and then you can go back to Titania. And there's one more thing that's pretty annoying, you cannot interact with the consoles. You gotta go to your operator. But then comes the plus of it, that you see this fan. You can skip so many things by just squeezing through the fan blades. Then you just jump into operator, hack the console, go back to Titania, and squeeze again. Like look at that, isn't that amazing? Like that's such a cheat code for those spy missions. She can skip so many of those. And look how fast you extract from the mission. Like the entire mission I killed nothing, I picked up no energy, and I have 100 left while I was spamming my abilities to refresh the buff duration for speed. And I'm still left with like 90 at the end. Like I'm telling you, Titania is a frame that can do it all. So, she can tank, and she's really fast, and she's great for farming. She can easily deal with any enemies, stay in Razor Wing nearly forever, and her buffs to damage reduction and avoidance are spread to your teammates. And same goes for her status immunity buff. She's the best frame for Void Flood missions. Can squeeze between things to make spy missions and other way easier. And she looks fucking amazing. I highly recommend her, and the moment you have her, I highly recommend to rush to get 2 green archon shards for the armor strip, and then you don't really need the other ones. This thing makes her deal with any enemy with ease. But well, that's all from me for now. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please like, comment, share and subscribe, and as always, see ya in the next one.